Right, I'm going to go ahead and just control save this. And I'm going to go into my sequencer. You'll see that it is currently empty. And I'm going to start getting some cameras in, because like I said, I've been having issues. I'll sort of like walk you through what you theoretically would need to do to export a camera from Maya, but like I for some reason can't. So, what you want to do, oh, I'm so bad at nav, is go into cinematics and add a master sequence if you do not already have one. So honestly, I've not super paid a lot of attention to these settings, so I'm usually just like, alright, let's just make a thing, let's go. Probably not the best idea, but once you're done and you have that, you can go in and you can add a level sequence. And you can name it whatever you want, so I'm just going to say all camera, whatever. You can set this up however I guess you need. To be honest, I'm mostly just using this for one camera. The best practices for using multiple cameras is still something that I would need to look into a little bit. But did I just name that all cameras? I think I did. Okay, so what you should be able to do then is you will see this little clip thing here. And there are, to get an actual camera in here, what you'd want to do is create a new camera and set it as the current camera. So just this little button here should do that. If you had something to actually input from Maya, what you would do, theoretically, is right-click on this and do import, find whatever camera FBX you have, and for the camera, from the tutorials I've watched, it seems like you also need to bake the animation once you're happy with your camera. So you would bake that the same way that we did for the environments and such. Sorry, character animation, and then you would just import that, but I have not made that work. So, I will show you how to hand animate a camera. So right now we're looking through the camera itself. If you want to not do that, you can see that it's sort of looking through the camera because it'll tell you like, hey, it'll basically pull up this little notice. If you want to turn that off, go back to regular perspective camera, click this little like unlock or untrack button, so you can see what that's sort of doing to the screen. And right now it's super blurry. So what I'm going to do is just still messing with camera settings, honestly, but if you turn the, that's not it, if you turn the aperture all the way up, that's going to give you less depth of field and like less insane blur on your stuff, and my wall looks terrible because the texture is super low res. So there's assorted different aspect ratios that you can see, and it'll, preview as needed. So in this case, I would suggest just sticking with like 16:9. Honestly, I probably should look into some of these. I just noticed there's a multiple 16:9s. But there are settings later where you can export from, make sure that it's like the size is correct, so you can always set that later. But anywho, so I'm just going to kind of go with this for now. And we're going to go ahead, oh my god, I'm so bad at navigating this. It's hilarious. Okay, go ahead, and I'm just going to look at my SAC, and let's go to the beginning of the animation. We have a little time slider, pretty much the same that is in Maya. You will notice, however, that my animations are not displaying. To make them display, you want to go in and do add plus track, and add actor to sequence. There is descriptions online about like what all of these things are, but you can get away with honestly just the button clicks. But actors are sort of things that exist in the scene, and there are assorted subsets of actors. There are some things that are not actors. There's like a whole different like classification for like what things do in the scene. An actor is just sort of one of those classifications. Sorry, that was like super vague. But I think this is flagging the animation unless I'm going crazy. So I grabbed that little sac anim baked, and that was my little FBX. So there should be this little button next here where plus animation, and if you click that, it's like, cool, grab whatever animation you need, and then it should actually show up in your clip. So if it doesn't show up, that is what you need to do to forcibly make it show up. Incidentally, I'm also not entirely sure where some of my stuff is right now. Ah, I see. Okay, so I added, it seems as though I've added my baked animation weirdly later in the scene, so it was just sort of not showing up. And after this, of course, he is running off into space. Alright, so I'm going to apparently need to rotate that a little bit, because that doesn't make sense. Alright, so we should be able to expand the transforms, look into rotation. Oh, that's very helpful. Alright, so in this... Ooh, hello. So in this case, I just sort of picked one randomly and hoped it was the one I needed. So it seems like it was 90 degrees off, so I'm just going to go ahead and rotate that 90 degrees. And shift the... nope, that was the wrong one. Alright. Actually, I think I only need to rotate it. Yeah, sorry. Because it should be... Yeah, this is the right position for Maya. Alright. So what we're going to do, now that that's all sort of lined up, hopefully correctly, and this kind of behaves a little bit like After Effects, and to be honest, I'm not fantastic with After Effects, so we're going to go ahead and zoom in so we can see what the heck I'm doing. Alright, so we seem to have actually already set a keyframe here, and that was mostly just me accidentally setting a keyframe. So what I'm going to do is assume that, like, this is going to be my original camera angle. Somebody, I think, said that you can use S to set a keyframe. In this one, if you'll notice this little, these little, like, dots are the set keyframe button. So that is telling me that the keyframe is Enter. So I'm going to use Enter. I'm going to scrub up, and the little camera guy's going to be like, oh no, the horror. And it seems like I should have actually maybe been a little bit closer for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and sort of fudge some wonky little camera angles for this. It's ridiculous seeing he matches the coffee thing. So I'm going to hit Enter. Sorry, I'm going to hit Enter with the camera selected. Oop. Nope. Dang it. Okay, sorry, my bad. Ah, okay. I named all camera whatever that is. I think that has my keyframes for the actual camera. Unless I'm going crazy. Let me test a thing really quick and see if it does anything. No. Okay, so I have been keying the wrong thing, like a dingus. Okay, sorry. So I do want the Cine actor, I think. Grab that, set a keyframe. What are you doing? Oh. Boo. Okay. Learn with me, guys. Real-time troubleshooting is how I'm gonna pitch this. Okay, so what I'm actually gonna do is I just right-clicked and I did delete. Delete. It occurs to me now that I should find faster ways to actually delete these keyframes, because this is very much not efficient. But it did what I needed. So I'm going to sort of zoom in a little bit closer maybe, and select my camera component, and keyframe that. Incidentally, I should probably also have only done the transform. Probably makes way more sense. I'm going to go ahead and just sort of randomly zoom out on this. You can also key stuff like the focal length and the aperture with all of the... I think I might need to expand that menu a little bit. So these little diamondy dudes with the plus button, you can also keyframe that should you need to. So I'm going to go ahead and hiss. Alright. What the heck? No. Oh wait, it did set a keyframe. What is going on? Sorry. Okay, so we have a moving camera. We're gonna pretend that this is sort of decent for now. Oop. And I'm just gonna do something different from my original because, frankly, I do still have a hard time navigating in Unreal. It gets really weird. And I'm just gonna kind of call this maybe good. This is not great camera motion, but, you know, it does something. So that should at least be good enough to get us to a point where we can actually export this. So I think I'm just going to do that really quick in another video. But if we go ahead and we play this, you can see kind of what we have for the animation and just like do a little proof of it before it gets really goofy. And I've done something weird up here. Clearly, what is... Alright, I'll figure that out in another video. Tell you where it's stopping.